Hi, I'm Brian Kellerman, the Chief Quality and Safety Officer at Kellerman Consulting, and you are watching our video series on ISO 9001 and quality management systems in any operation. Throughout this series, we have introduced the core concepts of quality management systems, quality control activities, quality assurance activities, and how verification actions are performed within the system. In this episode, we are going to discuss training requirements for quality control personnel and compare them with the training requirements for quality assurance personnel involved in the quality management system. We are also going to touch on specific ISO 9001 training recommendations for organizations pursuing or maintaining ISO certification. We will start by looking at the basic training requirements within the quality management system. As we begin to unpack what training should look like within a quality program, we need to understand that there is no one way to train and no defined structure to training that must be done. Instead, we need to think of training as something we do in an organized fashion to build knowledge and trust within operations, and that shows up in our evaluations of quality through quality control and quality assurance actions. Effective training results in consistent outcomes and compliance with the expectations of the quality management system. Training within the quality management system is customized to each operation and is determined by the preferences of those responsible for training. Training may be performed verbally and through shadowing of personnel identified as being knowledgeable in standard operating procedures, company priorities and objectives, use of common equipment, computer programs, and paperwork needed to carry out tasks and meet expectations. Training may be performed through the presentation of curated training materials such as manuals, handouts, or videos. Lastly, training may be performed through the placement of signage, pictures, diagrams, or other information at appropriately visible places within operation. For businesses that operate remotely, this can be accomplished through displays at sign-in or at the start of meetings. To define what constitutes a training, we need to start with the documentation of training. For all operations and quality management system training, we must record the date, the person performing the training, the topics covered, and the participants. The participants need to sign in either physically or electronically on the associated training documentation. Any event recorded as a training is a training, and this applies to all quality management, quality control, and quality assurance trainings. For ISO 9001, this is an official ISO 9001 training as well if folks sign in. With these training sign-ins being the baseline, we need to think through how to perform the most effective training based on the content provided. For a quality control specialist, training may be performed on the line or on a service call. Where QC actions are visual or sensory inspections, we should have labeled examples of acceptable and unacceptable products and services as part of our training material. This can be achieved with pictures posted on a QC station, with physical samples or proofs for comparison, or example scripts for services. For quality assurance personnel, we expect those individuals to oversee and review entire programs, so we need QA personnel to be trained on internal concepts and to be a link to information outside of the organization. For internal topics, we would expect quality assurance personnel to have trainings on all of the quality control procedures and the checks performed. Now, whether QA personnel are expected to back up QC personnel is determined by the needs of the organization. In addition to the quality control actions, QA needs to be trained on organizational policies and priorities, procedures, methods, responsibilities, schedules, and review actions for our organization. The leadership in quality assurance needs to be trained to the level where those individuals are capable of creating and updating documents within the QMS. In addition, we should also consider outside training courses to improve the overall education of QA so that those individuals can bring elevated skills to overseeing the quality system. Outside courses may be ISO training, and specifically ISO 9001, or an internal audit course, a Six Sigma course, or foundational topics such as advanced computer skills, robotics, ethics, and leadership. We can also consider sending quality assurance personnel to trade shows, conferences, seminars, or other publicly available training to keep up on the most current industry standards. When we are considering trainings for QC and QA personnel, all quality personnel, regardless of designation, must be trained on critical quality metrics, and this must include an understanding of how to identify deviations and how to properly address those deviations at the point of operations. This also means that the trainings must include an understanding of root cause investigations, acceptable corrections, corrective actions, and proper communication with operations for both conforming and non-conforming critical quality metrics during operations. We highly recommend that top management also have knowledge of how critical quality metrics impact the overall business objectives. For key performance indicators, determining which personnel needs to be trained in these is very much a unique decision for each organization. All top management needs to be trained on key performance indicators, and all QA personnel involved in compiling, analyzing, and presenting KPIs to top management need to be trained on those metrics. Kellerman Consulting recommends that all quality assurance personnel have at least some training on the key performance indicators for the organization and are capable of reviewing the trending and understanding the trends and the current state of key performance indicators for the organization. Lastly, the organizations that are pursuing ISO 9001 certification, training on the ISO 9001 manual and a basic understanding of the sections of the ISO code and the programs in place to meet ISO requirements should also be completed for all QA personnel. Now that we have discussed the operational level issues for quality management systems, quality assurance, and quality control, we will be turning our attention to review actions required for a QMS and which members of QA, QC, and top management should participate in those actions. In our next episode, we are going to cover internal auditing and management review of the quality management system. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please visit our website at kellermanconsulting.com or visit us on LinkedIn or YouTube.